Welcome to the fall of Loren and Alexei Brovarnik. They were the couple everyone rooted for. From the moment Loren Goldstone met Alexei Brovarnik on a birthright trip to Israel, their chemistry was undeniable. Fans of 90 Day Fiance watched their love blossom across borders, cultures, and time zones. But behind the filtered Instagram posts and TLC's polished edits, a different story was unfolding. One that would never make it to the highlight reel. For 10 months, Loren Brovarnik lived a double life. A secret romance with a wealthy businessman named Joseph began as a whisper and ended in a scandal that would shake the reality TV world. Yes, you heard that right. For the past 10 months, Loren Brovarnik had been secretly involved in a romantic relationship with a businessman named Joseph. What started as a private affair soon turned into a deep romance. After learning about Loren Brovarnik's hidden financial troubles, Joseph promised to take full responsibility for paying off her secret debt of $870,000. Following this, their bond grew even stronger. They spent several occasions together at 5-star hotels, revealing the depth of their relationship. A few weeks later, Loren discovered she was pregnant. Medical tests confirmed that the baby she was carrying shared Joseph's DNA. When Alexei Brovarnik learned the shocking news, he suffered immense emotional distress. Heated arguments and conflicts followed, leading Loren Brovarnik to ultimately divorce Alexei Brovarnik. Loren made her intentions clear. "I only want to marry Joseph." Unable to bear the betrayal, Alexei Brovarnik attempted suicide. Later, he accused Loren of embezzling $750,000 of his savings and giving it to Joseph. The case went to court, and after a lengthy hearing, the court found Alexei's allegations to be true. As a result, Loren Brovarnik was sentenced to 3 months in prison. This isn't just a story about love gone wrong. It's about the price of secrets, the weight of fame, and the unraveling of a marriage in the public eye. All right, let's start from the beginning. Before the headlines, before the betrayal, before the courtroom, there was just Loren and Alexei. Their story began in 2013, when Loren Goldstone, a spirited and outspoken American from Florida, traveled to Israel on a birthright trip. There, she met Alexei Brovarnik, a tall, soft-spoken medic with a quiet strength and piercing eyes. Their connection was instant. What started as a vacation romance quickly turned into something deeper. When Loren returned to the US, the two kept in touch. Long-distance calls turned into visits. Visits turned into love. And soon, Loren was flying back to Israel, not just for love, but for a future. Their relationship caught the attention of TLC's 90 Day Fiance, a reality show chronicling international couples navigating the K-1 visa process. Loren and Alexei joined the show's 3rd season in 2015, and viewers were immediately captivated. Loren's fiery personality clashed and complemented Alexei's calm demeanor. They were real, relatable, raw. Audiences watched as Alexei moved to the US, adjusting to a new culture, a new family, and a new life. They saw the couple argue, laugh, cry, and ultimately say, "I do." Their wedding was a celebration of love across borders, a moment that felt like a fairy tale ending. But it wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. The Brovarniks became fan favorites. They returned for multiple spin-offs, including 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, and Pillow Talk. Their social media presence exploded. Loren's candid posts about motherhood, postpartum struggles, and Tourette syndrome made her a relatable figure. Alexei's devotion to his growing family made him a model husband in the eyes of many. They welcomed their first son, Shai, in 2020. Then came Asher in 2021. And finally, baby Ariel in 2022. With each child, their bond seemed to grow stronger. They were the picture of a perfect family, smiling in matching outfits, vacationing in sunny Florida, and sharing their lives with millions. But perfection is often a mask. Behind the scenes, cracks were forming, financial pressures, emotional distance, secrets. And one secret in particular would soon shatter everything. Because while the world saw Loren and Alexei as the ultimate love story, Loren was already slipping away into the arms of another man. A loving husband, 3 beautiful children, a thriving social media presence, and a fan base that adored her honesty, her humor, and her vulnerability. But behind the curated posts and reality TV glow, Loren was drowning. It started with the pressure. Motherhood came fast and hard. 3 children in 3 years, sleepless nights, postpartum depression, the weight of being a public figure while privately unraveling. Loren spoke openly about her Tourette syndrome, earning praise for her bravery. But there were things she didn't share, things she couldn't, like the debt. Unbeknownst to Alexei, Loren had accumulated nearly $870,000 in secret loans, credit card bills, and failed investments. Some of it stemmed from impulsive spending, designer clothes, luxury skincare, and high-end baby gear. But a large portion came from a failed business venture she never told Alexei about. A boutique influencer agency she tried to launch in Miami, which collapsed within months. She was terrified. Terrified of losing her family. Terrified of disappointing Alexei. Terrified of the shame that would come if the truth got out. So she buried it, smiled for the camera, posted baby photos, and kept the secret locked away. But secrets have a way of finding light. In early 2025, Loren attended a charity gala in Miami, alone. Alexei stayed home with the kids. It was there she met Joseph, a sharply dressed businessman with a quiet confidence and a reputation for solving problems. They talked. She laughed. For the first time in months, Loren felt seen. Joseph wasn't just charming. He was strategic. He listened. He'd asked questions. And when Loren, in a moment of vulnerability, hinted at her financial troubles, he didn't flinch. He'd offered help, discreetly. No judgment. No strings. At first, Loren resisted. She was married. She had a family. But the weight of her secret was crushing her. And Joseph was offering relief. They began meeting in private. Coffee shops, hotel lounges, quiet dinners. What started as financial advice turned into emotional intimacy. Loren found herself confiding in Joseph more than she did in Alexei. He understood her stress, her ambition, her fear. And then, one night, everything changed. A 5-star suite, a bottle of wine, a moment of weakness. Loren crossed a line she couldn't uncross. The affair had begun. She told herself it was temporary, a distraction, a mistake. But Joseph wasn't going anywhere. He promised to pay off her debt, all $870,000 of it, no questions asked. Loren was stunned, grateful, and increasingly entangled. She returned home to Alexei with a smile, played the role, posted the pictures, but her heart was drifting, and her secret was growing. Because while Alexei believed they were building a future, Loren was already living a double life. Joseph wasn't just a man. He was a solution. Tall, composed, and always dressed in tailored suits, Joseph carried the aura of someone who had seen the world and conquered it. He wasn't flashy. He didn't need to be. His power came from silence, from the way he listened, calculated, and offered answers before you even asked the question. Loren met him at a charity gala in Miami. She wasn't looking for anything. She was just escaping the chaos of motherhood, the pressure of fame, and the weight of secrets she couldn't share with anyone. Alexei had stayed home with the kids. Loren arrived alone, dressed in a sleek black gown, her smile masking exhaustion. Joseph noticed her immediately. Their first conversation was brief, polite, but something clicked. He asked about her work, her family, her passions. Loren, used to surface-level small talk, found herself opening up. She didn't mention the debt, not yet, but she hinted at stress, at feeling overwhelmed. Joseph didn't pry. He simply said, "If you ever need help, I know people." That line stayed with her. Over the next few weeks, Loren and Joseph crossed paths again, at networking events, influencer mixers, and private dinners. Each time, their conversations grew deeper. Loren began to trust him. He was calm, grounded, and most importantly, He didn't see her as a reality TV star. He saw her as a woman in need of rescue. Eventually, Loren confessed. She told Joseph about the $870,000 in debt, the failed business, the sleepless nights, the fear of telling Alexei. She expected judgment, maybe pity. But Joseph surprised her. "I'll take care of it," he said. Loren was stunned. "What do you mean?" "I'll pay it off, quietly, no strings." She didn't believe him at first, but Joseph was serious. He had the resources, the connections, and the motive. Because by now, it wasn't just about helping Loren. It was about being with her. Joseph had fallen for her. He began sending wire transfers, clearing credit cards, negotiating settlements. Loren watched her financial nightmare dissolve like smoke, and with each payment, her emotional bond with Joseph deepened. They started meeting in private, hotel suites, rooftop lounges, weekend getaways. Loren told herself that was just business, just gratitude, but the truth was undeniable. She was falling in love. Joseph was everything Alexei wasn't, at least in that moment. He was decisive, wealthy, unburdened by diapers and domestic stress. He made Loren feel powerful again, desired, in control. And so, the affair began. Quietly, carefully, but inevitably. Loren returned home to Alexei with rehearsed smiles and filtered photos, but her heart was drifting, and Joseph was waiting, with open arms and an open wallet. The perfect couple was no longer perfect, and the man who promised to fix everything had just broken the first rule of love: don't fall for someone who's already married. Loren Brovarnik had never felt so conflicted. She was a mother of 3, a reality TV star, and a wife to a man who had stood by her through thick and thin. But in that moment, wrapped in silk sheets, sipping champagne, and staring into Joseph's eyes, she felt something she hadn't felt in years: freedom. Joseph didn't just offer financial relief. He offered escape from diapers, from debt, from the pressure of being perfect. With him, Loren wasn't a wife or a mother. She was a woman, desired, adored, and dangerously close to losing herself. Their affair escalated quickly. Joseph booked 5-star hotels across Miami and Fort Lauderdale, private suites, ocean views, room service that never stopped. Loren told Alexei she was attending influencer events, brand meetings, or wellness retreats. He believed her. Why wouldn't he? She was Loren, the woman he had crossed oceans for. But Loren was crossing lines. She and Joseph spent weekends wrapped in luxury, spa treatments, candlelit dinners, designer gifts. Joseph spared no expense. He wasn't just buying Loren's affection, he was building a fantasy. One where she didn't have to explain herself. One where her past didn't matter. One where Alexei didn't exist. And Loren was falling deeper. She told herself it was temporary, that she'd end it once the debt was gone, that she'd return to her family and pretend nothing happened. But Joseph wasn't just a phase. He was becoming a promise, a future, a man who made her feel alive again. Meanwhile, Alexei was growing suspicious. He noticed Loren's mood swings, her late-night texts, her sudden obsession with privacy. But he chalked it up to stress, to motherhood, to the chaos of their public life. He never imagined she was hiding a lover, a benefactor, a man who had already erased her financial sins. Loren began compartmentalizing. She'd spend weekdays with Alexei and the kids, school runs, family dinners, filming for TLC. Then, on weekends, she'd vanish. Joseph was always waiting, always ready, and always more intoxicating than the last time. But luxury has a cost. The more Loren indulged, the more she lied. To Alexei, to her fans, to herself. She posted throwback photos to cover her absences. She staged family moments to maintain the illusion. But behind the filters, her marriage was crumbling. And Joseph? He was patient, strategic. He knew Loren was married. He knew the risks, but he also knew her vulnerabilities, her fears, her dreams, and he played them perfectly. By the time spring arrived, Loren wasn't just cheating, she was planning, planning a future without Alexei, planning a life with Joseph, planning to rewrite her story. But fate had other plans, because secrets don't stay buried forever. And the next chapter would bring a revelation that no amount of luxury could hide. Loren Brovarnik had never felt so exposed. She sat across from Joseph in a dimly lit lounge, her voice trembling as she confessed the truth. $870,000 in debt. Credit cards maxed out. Business loans defaulted. Personal lines of credit she could no longer manage. It wasn't just a financial crisis. It was a ticking time bomb. Joseph didn't flinch. He leaned in, calm and composed, and said the words that would change everything. "I'll take care of it." Loren blinked. "What do you mean?" "I'll pay it off. All of it, quietly. No strings." She laughed nervously. "You're joking." "I'm not." Joseph was serious. He had the resources. He had the motive. And he had already fallen for her. Loren didn't know whether to cry or run. No one had ever offered her that kind of lifeline, not even Alexei. Joseph wasn't just solving her problem. He was rewriting her reality. The payments began immediately. Joseph wired $200,000 to clear her highest interest loans. Then another $150,000 to settle credit card balances. He negotiated with banks, hired lawyers, and even bought out her failed business's remaining liabilities. Within weeks, Loren's financial nightmare was melting away. She was stunned, grateful, and increasingly entangled. Joseph didn't ask for anything in return. No contracts, no ultimatums, just time, just presence, just her. He booked more hotel suites, more private dinners, more weekends away. Loren told herself it was gratitude, that she owed him her company, her attention, but deep down, she knew the truth. She was falling in love. Joseph made her feel powerful again, desired, in control. With him, she wasn't a struggling mom or a reality TV puppet. She was a woman with choices, with freedom, with a future. But that future came with a price. Loren began distancing herself from Alexei. She avoided deep conversations, dodged questions about money. She staged family photos for social media, but felt disconnected from the life they portrayed. Alexei noticed. He asked if she was okay. She said she was tired, overwhelmed. He believed her. But Loren wasn't overwhelmed. She was drifting. Joseph's generosity had created a new reality, one where Loren no longer felt trapped, one where she could imagine a life without secrets, without shame, without Alexei. And Joseph? He was patient, strategic. He knew Loren was married. He knew the risks, but he also knew her vulnerabilities, her fears, her dreams, and he played them perfectly. By the time summer arrived, Loren's debt was gone. Her heart was compromised, and her marriage was hanging by a thread. She stood at a crossroads. One path led back to Alexei, to forgiveness, to family, to the life she had built. The other led to Joseph, to luxury, to desire, to a future she never thought possible. And Loren had already begun walking. Because sometimes, the deepest betrayals begin with the best intentions. And sometimes, love isn't enough to keep a secret buried. Loren Brovarnik had never known luxury like this. Joseph didn't just book rooms. He curated experiences. The Ritz-Carlton, the Four Seasons, the Faina. Each suite was a world away from diapers, dishes, and domestic stress. Loren walked into marble lobbies and left her reality behind. With Joseph, she was someone else. They spent weekends wrapped in Egyptian cotton sheets, sipping vintage wine, and watching the city lights from penthouse balconies. Joseph ordered room service like royalty, lobster, truffle risotto, imported chocolates. Loren laughed more in those moments than she had in months. She felt seen, desired, alive, and the romance deepened. It wasn't just physical, it was emotional. Joseph listened. He asked about her dreams, her regrets, her fears. He didn't interrupt. He didn't judge. He simply held space for her to be vulnerable. Loren found herself sharing things she had never told Alexei, about her insecurities, her ambitions, her loneliness. Joseph responded with warmth, with reassurance, with promises. "I want you to be happy," he said one night, tracing her fingers as they lay in bed. "You deserve more than survival." Loren's heart twisted. She knew it was wrong. She knew she was betraying a man who had loved her through everything. But the truth was undeniable. She didn't feel like a wife anymore. She felt like a prisoner of her own choices. And Joseph was offering escape. They began traveling. Weekend trips to Naples, a spontaneous flight to New York, a private yacht charter off the coast of Miami. Loren told Alexei she was working on brand deals, filming content, or attending influencer retreats. He believed her. He wanted to believe her. But the distance between them was growing. At home, Loren played the role. She kissed the kids goodnight. She smiled for family photos. She posted throwbacks to maintain the illusion. But her heart was elsewhere. With Joseph, in hotel suites, in whispered conversations, in a life she was building in secret. And Joseph, he was patient, strategic. He never pushed, never demanded. He simply waited. Each time Loren returned, he welcomed her with open arms and open tabs. He knew she was married. He knew the risks. But he also knew her pain, her hunger for something more. By late summer, Loren wasn't just cheating, she was transforming. She began imagining a future with Joseph, a life without secrets, without shame, without Alexei. She started looking at apartments in Brickell. She asked Joseph about schools, neighborhoods, and long-term plans. The affair was no longer a detour. It was becoming a destination. But fate was watching, because secrets don't stay hidden forever. And the next revelation would shake Loren's world to its core. A pregnancy, a DNA test, and a truth that no hotel suite could contain. Loren Brovarnik had been feeling off for weeks. Fatigue, dizziness, and a strange aversion to her favorite coffee. At first, she blamed stress, then hormones, then the whirlwind of juggling 3 toddlers and a double life. But deep down, she knew she was pregnant. The realization hit her like a freight train. She stared at the positive test in the bathroom of a luxury hotel suite, her hands trembling. Joseph was in the other room, ordering room service. Loren sat on the cold tile floor, her mind racing. This wasn't supposed to happen. She had been careful, or so she thought. But now, the fantasy had consequences. Real ones. Ones that couldn't be hidden behind Instagram filters or influencer contracts. Joseph was the first to know. She told him that night, her voice barely above a whisper. He didn't panic. He didn't flinch. He simply took her hand and said, "Whatever happens, I'm here." Loren wanted to believe him. She needed to, because the next step was terrifying. She had to face Alexei. At home, Loren tried to act normal. She scheduled a doctor's appointment under a different name. She told Alexei she was going to a spa. But the truth was unraveling fast. The ultrasound confirmed it, 6 weeks pregnant. And when the doctor asked if she wanted a paternity test, Loren hesitated. Then she said yes. The results came back a week later. Loren opened the envelope alone, sitting in her parked car outside a pharmacy. Her heart pounded as she read the words. Paternity match. Joseph Levin. 99.99%. Her world stopped. There was no more pretending. No more hiding. The affair wasn't just emotional. It was biological. And now, it was undeniable. Loren broke down. She cried for hours. For Alexei. For her children. For the life she had just detonated. But when she finally composed herself, she made a decision. She had to tell him. That night, after the kids were asleep, Loren sat across from Alexei at the kitchen table. Her hands shook. Her voice cracked. And then she said it. "I'm pregnant, and it's not yours." Silence. Alexei stared at her, frozen. The words didn't register at first. Then they did, and the pain hit like a tidal wave. He stood up, walked away, came back, asked if it was a joke. Loren shook her head. "It's Joseph's," she said. "I'm sorry." The next few hours were chaos. Yelling, crying, accusations. Loren tried to explain, tried to justify, but there was no justification. only betrayal. Alexei was shattered. The man who had left his country, his family, and his career for her, now faced the ultimate betrayal in his own home. He asked her to leave. Loren packed a bag and went to Joseph's condo. He welcomed her without hesitation, held her, promised her everything would be okay. But Loren knew better. Nothing would ever be okay again, because the truth was out. The fantasy was over, and the fallout had just begun. Alexei Brovarnik had always been the calm one. Through the chaos of reality TV, the pressures of immigration, and the sleepless nights of fatherhood, he remained steady, grounded, loyal. He had left his home in Israel, his career, and his family to build a life with Loren in America. He believed in their love. He believed in her. Until the night she told him the truth. "I'm pregnant, and it's not yours." The words echoed in his mind like a siren. At first, he thought it was a joke, a cruel, tasteless joke. But Loren's face said otherwise. Pale, tear-streaked, silent. She wasn't lying. She wasn't even trying to soften the blow. "It's Joseph's," she said. And just like that, the world Alexei had built collapsed. He stood up from the kitchen table, pacing the room like a man trying to outrun a nightmare. His hands trembled. His chest tightened. He couldn't breathe. Loren tried to speak, but he cut her off. "How long?" he asked. 10 months, she whispered. 10 months, nearly a year. While he was changing diapers, filming episodes, and building a home, she was building a second life with another man. A man who now had a child growing inside her wife. Alexei's voice cracked. Was any of it real? Loren didn't answer. She couldn't, because the truth was too ugly, too complicated, too late. The days that followed were a blur. Alexei moved into the guest room. He stopped filming, stopped posting, stopped eating. He couldn't look at Loren without seeing betrayal. He couldn't look at his children without feeling like a stranger in his own home. The man who had once been the rock of the Brovarnik family was now crumbling. Friends noticed, family called, TLC producers reached out, but Alexei shut everyone out. He was humiliated, heartbroken, and angry. One night, after putting the kids to bed, he found himself staring at old wedding photos. Loren in white, him in a suit, smiling, hopeful, naive. He threw the frame across the room. Glass shattered. And so did he. The next morning, Loren was gone. She had packed a bag and left for Joseph's condo. No goodbye, no explanation, just silence. Alexei stood in the doorway, watching the car pull away, and felt something inside him snap. He wasn't just grieving a marriage. He was grieving a life that no longer existed. In the weeks that followed, Alexei spiraled. He stopped showing up to work. He missed court dates related to his immigration paperwork. He drank more, slept less, and one night, in a moment of unbearable pain, he made a decision that would send shockwaves through their entire world. He tried to take his own life. A neighbor found him in time. Paramedics arrived. He survived, but the damage was done. The story leaked. Headlines exploded. 90-day Fiance star hospitalized after suicide attempt. Fans were stunned. Support poured in. But the truth behind the headlines was darker than anyone knew. Because Alexei wasn't just broken. He was betrayed, and he was about to fight back. The next chapter wouldn't be about heartbreak. It would be about justice. And Loren Brovarnik was about to face consequences she never saw coming. Loren Brovarnik didn't look back. She stood outside the courthouse in downtown Miami, sunglasses on, her expression unreadable. The papers were signed. The marriage was over. After nearly a decade together, 3 children, and a journey that had captivated millions, Loren had officially divorced Alexei Brovarnik. And she didn't hesitate. "I only want to marry Joseph," she told the judge. The declaration was bold, cold, final. There was no apology. No remorse, just clarity. Loren had made her choice, and it wasn't the man who had crossed oceans for her. It was the man who had erased her debt, held her secrets, and now fathered her unborn child. Alexei didn't attend the final hearing. He couldn't. Emotionally, he was wrecked. Physically, he was recovering from his suicide attempt. Spiritually, he was lost. Friends tried to rally around him. TLC producers offered counseling, but nothing could undo the betrayal. Loren's decision wasn't just a rejection, it was a public humiliation. The media pounced. 90-day fiance divorce shocker. Loren chooses lover over husband. Alexei left in ruins as Loren moves on. Social media exploded. Fans were divided. Some defended Loren, citing her right to choose happiness. Others condemned her, calling her selfish, cruel, and calculating. But Loren didn't respond. She posted a single photo, her hand intertwined with Joseph's, a diamond ring glinting in the sunlight. Caption: New beginnings. It was a message to Alexei, to the world, to herself. Joseph, ever the strategist, remained silent. He didn't speak to the press. He didn't post on social media. He simply stood beside Loren, calm and composed, as she rebuilt her life. They moved into a luxury condo overlooking Biscayne Bay. Loren began planning a new brand, one focused on motherhood, empowerment, and starting over. But behind the scenes, the damage lingered. Alexei filed for joint custody of the children. Loren resisted. Legal battles loomed. Family members took sides. And the emotional toll on their children, Shai, Asher, and Ariel, was impossible to ignore. What had once been a picture-perfect family was now fractured, scattered across courtrooms and condos. And yet, Loren pressed forward. She began attending prenatal appointments with Joseph. She hired a PR team to reshape her image. She pitched a new reality series, one that would follow her journey from scandal to redemption. TLC was hesitant, but the drama was undeniable. Meanwhile, Alexei was quietly gathering evidence. Because while Loren had declared her love for Joseph, Alexei had discovered something else. Something darker. Something that would turn the tide. He believed Loren had stolen from him. $750,000. Gone. Transferred. Hidden. And if he was right, the divorce wouldn't be the end. It would be the beginning of a war. Alexei Brovarnik was a man unraveling. The divorce was final. Loren had moved in with Joseph. The children were split between homes, and the woman he had once called his soulmate was now carrying another man's child. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was existential. Everything Alexei believed in had been shattered. He stopped filming for TLC, stopped posting on social media, stopped answering calls from friends and family. He was drowning in silence. The house felt empty. The laughter of his children echoed like ghosts in the hallways. Loren's perfume still lingered in the closet. Her toothbrush still sat by the sink. Alexei couldn't bring himself to throw them away. He couldn't bring himself to move on. He was stuck in the wreckage. Each day blurred into the next. He barely ate, barely slept. He spent hours scrolling through old photos, wedding pictures, baby milestones, vacations, smiles that now felt like lies. He replayed Loren's confession over and over in his mind. I'm pregnant, and it's not yours. The words haunted him. He tried therapy. It didn't help. He tried journaling. It made things worse. He tried pretending to be okay. But the mask cracked every time he looked in the mirror. The man staring back wasn't Alexei Brovarnik. He was a shell. And then came the darkest night. It was late. The kids were with Loren. The house was silent. Alexei sat on the edge of his bed, staring at a bottle of sleeping pills. He didn't cry. He didn't scream. He simply felt nothing. A numbness that wrapped around him like a fog. He wrote a note. It was short, just a few lines, apologizing to his children, to his parents, to the fans who had supported him. He didn't blame Loren. He didn't mention Joseph. He simply said he couldn't carry the pain anymore. Then he closed his eyes. But fate intervened. A neighbor, concerned by the silence and missed calls, knocked on the door. When Alexei didn't answer, they called the police. Paramedics arrived just in time. He was rushed to the hospital, unconscious but alive. The news broke within hours. 90-day fiance star hospitalized after suicide attempt. Alexei Brovarnik's tragic collapse. Reality TV romance ends in heartbreak. Fans were stunned. Messages of support flooded social media. TLC released a statement expressing concern and offering resources. Loren remained silent. Joseph stayed hidden, but the damage was done. Alexei survived, but he would never be the same. He spent weeks in recovery, physically and emotionally. Therapy resumed. Family flew in from Israel. TLC offered to fund a mental health documentary, but Alexei declined. He didn't want cameras. He didn't want pity. He wanted justice. Because in the haze of his recovery, a new truth had emerged. $750,000 gone from his savings. Transferred, hidden, and all signs pointed to Loren. The betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was financial, and Alexei was ready to fight back. The next chapter wouldn't be about heartbreak. It would be about revenge. Alexei Brovarnik had lost his marriage. Now, he feared he'd lost his fortune too. In the weeks following his suicide attempt, Alexei began combing through his finances. Therapy had helped him regain some clarity, and with the encouragement of his brother, he decided to audit his accounts. What he found left him speechless. $750,000. Gone. Transferred from his savings account over a span of 8 months. Quiet withdrawals, unusual wire transfers, payments to shell companies he didn't recognize. At first, he thought it was fraud, a hacker, a banking error. But the deeper he dug, the clearer the pattern became. The transactions were linked to Loren. She had access to the accounts, she had the passwords, and she had motive. Alexei's heart sank. The woman who had betrayed him emotionally had now betrayed him financially. And the money, it hadn't vanished. It had been funneled to Joseph. Alexei was livid. He contacted a lawyer, hired a forensic accountant, filed a formal complaint. The evidence was damning. Loren had transferred funds from Alexei's personal savings into accounts connected to Joseph's business ventures. Some payments were disguised as consulting fees. Others were labeled family support. But the trail was clear. She had embezzled from him. Alexei filed a lawsuit. The case made headlines instantly. Alexei Brovarnik accuses ex-wife of stealing $750,000. 90-day fiancé scandal deepens with financial crimes. Loren Brovarnik faces court over alleged embezzlement. Loren denied everything. Her legal team claimed the transfers were consensual, that Alexei had approved them, that they were part of a joint investment strategy. But Alexei had receipts, emails, texts, bank statements, and most importantly, a timeline that aligned perfectly with her affair. Joseph refused to testify. He remained silent, hiding behind lawyers and NDAs, but his fingerprints were all over the transactions. The court subpoenaed his financial records. More connections emerged. Loren had used Alexei's money to pay off her debt, to fund her luxury escapes, to build a life with Joseph. The betrayal was complete. Alexei sat in the courtroom, staring at the woman he once loved. Loren avoided eye contact. Her belly was now visibly pregnant. Joseph sat beside her, expressionless. The judge listened. The lawyers argued, and the truth unfolded like a slow-motion car crash. After weeks of hearings, the verdict came. Loren Brovarnik was found guilty of embezzling $750,000 from Alexei's personal savings. The court ruled that the transfers were unauthorized, deceptive, and intended to benefit a third party, Joseph. Loren was sentenced to 3 months in prison and ordered to repay the full amount. The courtroom was silent. Alexei didn't smile. He didn't celebrate. He simply nodded. Justice had been served, but the scars remained. Because this wasn't just about money. It was about trust. And Loren had shattered it beyond repair. Reporters lined the back wall. Cameras flashed outside the building. Fans of 90 Day Fiancé camped out for hours, hoping to catch a glimpse of Loren or Alexei. What had started as a private betrayal had become a public spectacle, a scandal that blurred the line between reality TV and real-life tragedy. Loren Brovarnik walked in first. She wore a fitted black blazer, her hair pulled back, her expression unreadable. Her pregnancy was now visible, a quiet reminder of the affair that had detonated her marriage. Beside her sat Joseph, stoic and silent, dressed in a tailored suit. He didn't speak. He didn't blink. He was the ghost behind the chaos. Alexei entered minutes later, thinner, paler, but composed. He wore a simple button-down shirt and carried a folder of evidence. No entourage, no theatrics, just a man seeking justice. He didn't look at Loren, didn't acknowledge Joseph. His eyes were fixed on the judge. The trial began. Alexei's legal team presented a meticulous case. Bank statements, wire transfers, emails, texts, a timeline that painted a damning picture. Loren had siphoned $750,000 from Alexei's personal savings and funneled it into Joseph's ventures. The transactions were disguised. The intent was clear. Loren's defense was shaky. Her lawyers argued that the money was part of a joint investment plan, that Alexei had verbally approved the transfers, that Loren had acted in good faith. But the evidence said otherwise. The emails showed secrecy. The texts revealed deception, and the timing aligned perfectly with her affair. The judge asked tough questions. Why were these transfers hidden? Why was Joseph listed as a consultant when no contract existed? Why did Loren continue withdrawing funds after the separation? Loren struggled to answer. Her voice cracked. Her explanations faltered. She tried to shift blame, tried to paint herself as overwhelmed, but the courtroom wasn't buying it. The betrayal was too deep, the paper trail too clear. Joseph remained silent. He invoked his right not to testify. His financial records were subpoenaed, revealing a sudden influx of funds during the affair. He claimed they were gifts. Loren claimed they were support. Alexei claimed they were theft. The media had a field day. Loren Brovarnik faces financial fraud charges. Joseph's silence raises eyebrows. Alexei's calm masks a storm of evidence. Social media exploded. Fans debated loyalties. Some defended Loren, citing emotional distress. Others rallied behind Alexei, praising his courage. But the truth was no longer up for debate. It was up for judgment. After weeks of hearings, the verdict was delivered. Loren Brovarnik was found guilty of embezzling $750,000 from Alexei's savings. The court ruled that the transfers were unauthorized and deceptive. She was sentenced to 3 months in prison and ordered to repay the full amount. The courtroom fell silent. Loren didn't cry. She didn't speak. She simply nodded, as if accepting the inevitable. Joseph placed a hand on her shoulder. Alexei stared straight ahead, his expression unreadable. Justice had been served, but the damage was permanent. The Brovarniks were no longer a family. They were a headline, a cautionary tale. And the next chapter would ask the hardest question of all. What comes after betrayal? Loren Brovarnik had just been sentenced to 3 months in prison for embezzling $750,000 from her ex-husband, Alexei. The verdict was swift, but the impact was seismic. Reality TV's Golden Girl was now a convicted felon. She didn't cry. As the judge read the sentence, Loren stood still, hands clasped, jaw tight, eyes forward. Her lawyer whispered something in her ear. Joseph sat behind her, expression unreadable. The cameras outside the courthouse captured every angle, every reaction, every moment. The headlines followed instantly. Loren Brovarnik sentenced to prison. 90-day Fiance star faces jail time over financial scandal. From reality fame to real-life consequences. Social media exploded. Fans were stunned. Some expressed sympathy, citing postpartum stress and emotional trauma. Others were ruthless, calling her manipulative, greedy, and heartless. But the court had spoken. Loren was going to jail. She surrendered the following week. No special treatment, no celebrity privileges. Loren was processed like any other inmate, fingerprinted, photographed, and assigned a cell. Her designer clothes were replaced with a standard-issue jumpsuit. Her luxury condo was swapped for concrete walls and metal bars. And for the first time in years, Loren was alone. No cameras, no filters, no Joseph. Just silence. Her pregnancy complicated things. She was placed in a medical unit, monitored closely. Nurses checked her vitals. Guards watched her movements. Loren tried to stay strong, but the isolation was brutal. She missed her children, missed her freedom, missed the life she had destroyed. Meanwhile, Alexei was healing. The verdict gave him closure. He began rebuilding, emotionally, financially, spiritually. He returned to therapy, reconnected with friends, started filming again, this time with a new focus, resilience. TLC approached him about a solo documentary. He agreed, but only under one condition: no mention of Loren. He wanted to move forward, but the world wouldn't let go. Tabloids published letters Loren wrote from prison, emotional reflections, apologies, regrets. She spoke of guilt, shame, and the pain of losing her family. She didn't blame Alexei. She didn't defend Joseph. She simply admitted the truth. "I lost myself, and I hurt the people I loved." The letters went viral. Fans debated her sincerity. Some saw redemption, others saw manipulation. But one thing was clear: Loren was no longer the woman they had watched on TV. She was broken and behind bars. Joseph remained silent. He visited once briefly, but sources claimed tension. Loren had expected support. Instead, she got distance. Rumors swirled that Joseph was reconsidering their relationship, that the scandal had damaged his reputation. That love built on secrets rarely survives the spotlight. By the time Loren's release date approached, everything had changed. Her brand deals were gone. Her reputation was tarnished. Her future was uncertain. She walked out of prison with no cameras, no fanfare, and no Joseph waiting at the gate. Just a quiet ride home, and a long road ahead. Because while the sentence was over, the consequences were just beginning. The storm had passed, but the wreckage remained. Loren Brovarnik walked out of prison with no cameras, no fanfare, and no Joseph waiting at the gate. Her 3-month sentence was over, but her life had changed forever. The woman who once graced reality TV screens as a beloved wife and mother was now a cautionary tale. She returned to a quiet condo in Miami. No brand deals, no influencer contracts, no Joseph. Rumors swirled that he had distanced himself during her incarceration. His business had taken a hit. His name had become synonymous with scandal. And while Loren had expected loyalty, she found silence. Their relationship, once built on luxury and secrecy, had crumbled under the weight of public shame. Loren tried to rebuild. She reached out to her children. Alexei allowed limited visitation. She posted a single photo, her holding her newborn daughter, the child fathered by Joseph. The caption was simple: starting over. But the comments were brutal. Fans hadn't forgotten. The internet doesn't forgive easily. She began therapy, started journaling, avoided the spotlight. But the guilt lingered, the shame, the regret. Loren had lost more than money. She had lost trust, reputation, and the man who once loved her unconditionally. Alexei, meanwhile, was healing. He had reclaimed his narrative. TLC offered him a solo series focused on fatherhood, resilience, and rebuilding. He accepted. The show premiered to strong ratings. Fans rallied behind him. He became a symbol of strength, of survival, of grace under fire. He focused on his children, on his career, on his peace. He didn't speak about Loren publicly, not once. He let the court speak for him. Let the evidence tell the story. And in doing so, he earned something Loren had lost: respect. Joseph vanished from the public eye. No interviews, no statements, no social media. His silence spoke volumes. Some said he had moved overseas. Others claimed he had quietly ended things with Loren. But one thing was clear: he was no longer part of her life. And Loren, she was alone. She had her newborn, she had her memories, and she had the long road ahead. Redemption wouldn't come easy. Trust wouldn't return overnight. But she had one thing left: time. Time to reflect. Time to rebuild. Time to ask herself the hardest question of all: was it worth it? When trust is shattered and secrets surface, how far would you go to protect your heart or your fortune? Would you forgive betrayal, or would you seek justice like Alexei did? Is love ever enough when the truth is buried beneath luxury and lies? Let us know in the comments. Would you choose love, revenge, or redemption? More update. Fans are worried that 90-Day Fiance star Loren Brovarnik's tics, or involuntary movements, have recently worsened. It's believed that the stress and pressure from the show may be affecting her condition. Recently, Loren revealed that she felt hurt and betrayed by her friend Libby over body-shaming comments. She also opened up about her struggles with her body image during the postpartum period. Meanwhile, Loren and her husband Alexei have moved to Israel with their 3 children to be closer to their Jewish roots and culture. Finally, Loren shared that she is slowly recovering from an undisclosed illness and expressed her gratitude to fans for their continued love and support. I will explain everything. Loren Brovarnik's issues with Tourette's syndrome have always been openly discussed with her 90-Day Fiance fans. As a result, her supporters have experienced everything with her, from the highs to the lows. People are certain that things are getting worse after seeing her on Happily Ever After. It would appear that Loren's reality TV appearance is having a negative impact on her health, since her tics are becoming increasingly uncontrollable. Because of this, viewers began to question whether or not Loren was truly being challenged by the franchise. Is that so? If you want to know more about this debate, you should read on. Tourette's syndrome affects the nerve system, and 90-Day Fiance star Loren Brovarnik has been open about her diagnosis. This means she needs to cope with tics, which are a collection of involuntary movements. Medical science has not yet found a remedy for Loren's illness, which she has apparently been battling since she was 7 years old. Therefore, Loren has cried in front of the camera on multiple occasions when her tics were on display. Because she thought the world was genuinely cruel, she was first afraid to tell anybody about her illness. But Loren hasn't been filming the subtleties of her tics for quite some time. While on 90-Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, Loren and Alexei Brovarnik addressed their problems with Libby, Andrei, Yara, and Jovi. Watching her friendship with Libby decline caused Loren a great deal of stress, and there were instances when she screamed uncontrollably. It appears that her health suffered as a result of all of these stressful experiences. The deeply unsettling nature of Loren's facial expressions was recently brought to light in a Reddit thread. In contrast to their previous level of control, the OP's facial tics appear to be out of control. She was obviously under stress all season long, and they went on to say how stress triggers them severely. It has been suggested that Loren consider stepping away from the spotlight of 90-Day Fiance, according to the original poster. In a different thread, someone mentioned that Loren had an involuntary tic that caused her eyes to widen and her mouth to pull down simultaneously. She was struggling to keep her emotions in check, as other spectators confessed. Taking care of children, mending damaged relationships, and filming all at once must have been really taxing on her health. As one admirer put it, Alexei seems to be a perfectionist, and when Loren had 3 children in a row, life would have been extremely challenging. Therefore, they think she has to step away from reality TV for a while and concentrate on getting well. Have you any thoughts? Please inform us by using the comment area. Loren shares truth behind body-shaming comments. Feels betrayed by Libby. Elizabeth, also known as Libby, let her down, according to 90-Day Fiance star Loren Brovarnik, who opened up about body-shaming comments. Both of the friends' husbands, Andrei and Alexei, are involved in their back-to-back arguments. It all began when Libby and Andrei moved to Moldova and Loren and Alexei questioned their decision. Jovi and Yara were also with them that day. It was alleged by fans that Jovi and Yara invited Loren and Elizabeth to her launch party. As the visitors enjoyed entertainment in the backseat, the women created tension and mayhem. Whenever Elizabeth told him about her spouse, Loren questioned. After hearing her describe Andrei as a terrible person, she listened to her. He was a dickhead, she explained, but not quite so cruel. She called her friend out because she was offended by this. Yara's celebration was a long-awaited reunion with Loren and Elizabeth. She eagerly anticipated spending time with her group, but after Andrei and Alexei argued, ruining her business function, she quickly departed the location. She went up to Libby and told her everything. According to her, Alexei said that Andrei had lost his $74,000. In a startling response to Yara, Libby claimed to have never heard of Andrei's largest financial loss on their double date. If nothing else, he ought to have told his wife before Alexei made it public. If Elizabeth had married the right man, she had to question it. Because of this, a Redditor accused Yara of not telling her buddy all the specifics. They believed she purposefully obscured Jovi's speech to point the finger at Alexei. The long-standing conflict between Loren and Alexei was handled in a recent episode of Happily Ever After. She claimed to have been a little envious of him after witnessing him flex and build his muscles every day. She claimed that even with a dietitian and a year of exercise, she didn't look amazing or get closer to him. Loren told Elizabeth about her feelings throughout the postpartum phase. Because she was so unhappy with her body, she decided to get a mommy makeover. Although Alexei was clearly upset, he made a kind effort to explain to her why his wife shouldn't have overcomplicated things. He detested how Libby handled his body shaming. Prior to surgery or having children, Alexei reminded Loren of their agreement. In response, she said she needed to show him that she would improve and not to criticize her appearance via her hard work. She was aware that he wasn't purposefully hiding anything, but her postpartum schedule was the real offender. The TLC performer acknowledged that she had faith in Libby to maintain her secret. Thinking she might not spill the hot tea, Loren confided in her best friend Elizabeth, just like any other girl would. The latter, regrettably, betrayed the former in what they did. She might not be easily forgiven. Nearly every day they spoke, discussing anything from marriage and life to minor things. Loren and Alexei left America, moved to Israel with kids. Recently, Loren and Alexei Brovarnik moved to Israel with their kids, Shai, Asher, and Ariel. After leaving America, they had been longing for the transfer from the start. However, because of the nation's warlike scenario, the 90-day Fiance stars postponed their plans. To settle down with Loren, Alexei relocated to the United States. He constructed a lovely home in the country and welcomed 3 children. However, the American native had always desired to bring up his children in Israel. Alexei desired for his family to be more connected to their Jewish heritage. Multiple times, he and Loren had intended to move, but for a variety of reasons, they had to abandon the plan. The reality TV celebrities seem to have finally departed the United States in search of a fresh start. Is this a permanent relocation? Will they always reside in Israel? Both Loren and Alexei publicly defend their culture and are happy to be Jewish. Even after years of living in America, the 90-day Fiance actors know how to keep their children more connected to their Jewish heritage. Both Loren and Alexei were steadfast in their support of Israel during the conflict with Palestine. To show their sorrow for all those who died, they even traveled to Israel. But when the TLC star supported their Jewish community, they received a lot of criticism. At one point, Loren talked about the anti-Semitic messages she had received online because she supported Israel. She revealed the identity of a person who, due to her race, wished for her children's deaths. The reality TV actress wished on her detractors to refrain from going too far and focusing on her kids. Even though Alexei goes through the same thing, he still supports his nation. It was always Loren and Alexei Brovarnik's dream to bring their children to Israel. While the country was at war with Iran, they were worried for the latter's family. Fans were thus eager to find out when the pair would be reunited with their relatives. Loren recently posted these airport pictures of Alexei and their kids. She invited the audience to speculate as to where they were going. Later, to show that they had finally achieved their goal, the husband of the 90-day Fiance actress proudly posted an Israeli flag. Loren posted a rotating collection of images to her Instagram account. She posed joyfully at the airport with Alexei and their children. While visiting their paternal nation, the American native also managed to capture her children's lovely expressions. "There's no better feeling," Loren wrote. "We wish you and your family a happy Shabbat." The fact that she and her spouse finally relocated to the country pleased her fans. However, the TLC star's update indicated that she might only remain there for a few weeks. Loren implied that the change was temporary. After Israel and Iran's current geopolitical conflict, Alexei may have intended to meet his family. The Brovarnik family's adorable reunion won countless fans. Admirer wrote, "I'm crying for you. Have the greatest and most meaningful time, my love." Another user said, "Be careful. Enjoy, but keep yourself safe." Return often to TV season and spoilers for additional information about Loren and Alexei's journey to Israel. Loren Brovarnik gives stunning update on mystery illness after asking fans for help. Loren Brovarnik of 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, is discussing whether or not her health has improved. Since her debut in Season 3 of 90 Day Fiance with Alexei Brovarnik, Loren has emerged as one of the most likable characters in the series. The fact that Loren is one of the most popular characters in the series is likely due to her genuine personality and grounded demeanor. Although her uncensored selfies and thoughts may not be to everyone's taste, Loren is likable since she is candid about her troubles with parenthood, body dysmorphia, health problems, etc. During a recent Instagram Stories post, Loren begged her fans for aid with her virus. As her health problems deteriorated, Loren disclosed that her flu symptoms had gotten worse. Her stomach illness had also struck her in December, and this time she was upset because it was not going away. Loren appeared incredibly worn out in the Instagram selfie she posted, but Loren's most recent update has some good news for her fans. It said, finally, on the way to feeling better, and she posted a full body mirror photo with the thumbs up sign. Following her recovery from the stomach flu that had also afflicted her family, Loren shared in January that she was ill with a cold/flu, which alarmed her admirers. She requested recommendations for homeopathic remedies and even contemplated trying tequila because oils, honey, and lemon were not working. After taking oregano and onions, Loren saw some alleviation. He next took the homeopathic flu medication oscillococcinum. However, after a while, neither the medicine nor the oregano oil nor Vicks VapoRub on her feet seemed to be helping Loren. Loren was feeling quite dizzy, worn out, and weak. Repeatedly asking followers for suggestions, she disclosed that she was allergic to ginger and would not be doing the onion thing. After a week of being ill, Loren did not explain why she was not going to see a doctor. Instead of turning to the internet for assistance, Loren should have visited a doctor. Given that Loren was a little evasive and did not disclose all of her problems, fans would not have been able to properly counsel her. Will your 90-day fiancé lead to happiness? Loren expressed gratitude to her supporters for their support and for keeping in touch. She did not disclose the home cure that she found to be most effective or whether she sought medical attention to begin feeling better. Due to her hectic schedule, Loren rarely posts pictures of herself relaxing or engaging in leisurely pursuits on social media. The focus of Loren's updates is always her children. She has previously struggled with postpartum depression. The last time she committed to self-care was during her mommy makeover, during which Alexei and her family nearly talked her out of it. No more today. What are you thinking about this gossip today? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned by subscribing to our channel to get more updates like this. Thank you.